Good morning. We have a special guest here this morning, and her name is Mary Scanlon. Ms. Scanlon grew up in Rocky Hill and is a former GMS student who works as a radio DJ. She's currently the co-host on one of the more popular morning shows in the Hartford area. Good morning.
Good morning.
Waiting for the teleprompter to move ahead. She has worked at many radio stations around the greater Hartford area during her career. She's here to share some of her experiences as a professional broadcaster. Mary, how old were you when you became interested in working in radio?
I didn't know I was interested in working in radio until I actually got the job.
Okay.
I was going to college to become an X-ray technician,
Okay.
and it involved a lot of math, and I was terrible at math. I had to work really hard at math, and I wanted to take a break one semester, so took a break and took effective public speaking and voice and diction, and from there I moved.
Excellent. So, actually, when did you begin?
I was 20 years old. I got a job as a traffic reporter. You got to start small and work your way up.
Oh, that's excellent. So your first job was doing the traffic? And where did that lead? What doors did that open for you?
Well, I did traffic for about 4 years while I was still in college, so I was working like crazy, 14 hours a day plus school. And eventually, one of the morning shows that I did traffic for, one of the guys did something really bad on the air and got fired.
Well, hey.
So they moved me right into his position, right place, right time. Luck and
so
all
it's
that.
not what you know as much as who you know, or being in the right place
Right
at the right
place
time.
at the right time. It's all about opportunity.
Excellent. Now, what sort of training or education would a person usually have to get in order to work in a radio situation?
Well, you can go the college route and go for a mass communications degree, or go specifically for journalism, or you could go to CSB, which specifically trains you in editing and production and television and radio.
Which CSB is, of course?
Connecticut School of Broadcasting, right in Farmington. And you can also go to community college. I went to Middlesex Community College because I wasn't the best student in the world. I wasn't good at school. I tested well.
Okay, good. So that's how you got started.
Yes, every teacher said I had more potential.
Well, that's good. Hey, something, it sounds like you've reached your potential over the years. Now, what sort of, and you said you began with as a traffic reporter, what other sort of entry-level jobs are available in radio? How would the typical person start out? I don't assume they're going to start out like a morning show like Howard Stern or something.
Yeah, you don't get into the business making $1 million like Howard Stern. You got to pay your dues, and some people don't like to hear that. You can start as early as high school, though.
Okay, really?
You can be an intern over the summer, and it can count towards college credits as well while you're in college. You start off hanging posters and doing things at shows and guarding gates and, giving people prizes, working in the promotions department.
Answering phones and stuff
Answering
like that.
phones. You don't always have to get people coffee, though.
Okay.
It's not all about fetching and stuff like that.
But you got to pay your dues before
Yes,
you get the good
yes, it's a little slave labor-ish.
That's okay. I'm sure it's a lot of fun. What other sorts of work do you get to do besides broadcasting live? I guess, there might be other opportunities
Absolutely. I do voiceover work in New York City.
Explain what a voiceover is.
Voiceover is when you hear a commercial or the person who introduces a show. So, for instance, I did comedy showcases for HBO.
Okay.
So at the beginning of the program, live from the Santa Monica Pier in Southern California, here's insert comedian name there.
Neat.
Or commercial work, the person who talks about Barbies or Maxwell House Coffee. You hear them every day, and you don't realize that they're real people.
And that's a paid job.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Bought my first car.
Well, good for you. Then I guess it pays okay then. Now, of course, the reason a lot of people think they might want to get into radio, have you ever met any famous people or rock stars over the years?
I've met a bunch of rock stars and famous people, Ozzy and Sharon, the Osbournes, Avenged Sevenfold, most recently, all of the Ozfest lineup, Nelly, Fat Joe, John Mayer, the Foo Fighters, I have a whole list here, Audioslave, Aerosmith, you name it, I've interviewed them, talked to them on the phone, Mariah Carey.
Wow.
A lot of people live, and a lot of people on the telephone, a lot of people backstage at shows you just bump into. And
are they generally pretty cool people to be around, or are they, kind of snobby?
It would surprise you who's nice and who's not.
Really?
Yeah, because John Mayer, everybody thinks he's a hunky-dory guy. I think he thought he was a little smarter than everybody in the room.
Interesting.
Not a fun interview. David Lee Roth, not a fun interview.
Okay.
But Marilyn Manson, Rob Zombie, great. Avenged Sevenfold, all the rockers usually tend to be a little more down to earth.
Neat.
Fat Joe was great, and Nelly was a gentleman. Boys, remember that. You can be a rap star and still behave like a gentleman.
Nice. That's good to hear. Now, working as a DJ, do you get any cool perks like getting to go to free concerts and shows and, you know, T-shirts and swag and music and stuff?
That's what paying your dues as an intern all equals out to, because even as an intern you get perks. You get to go to the free shows, you get to meet people, you get to go backstage.
Excellent.
And sometimes if you have a good boss like me, you know, you get taken out to dinner for free.
Nice. Okay, so even while you're not really making that much and kind of doing the grunt work, you're still getting some of the nice benefits.
Your perks aren't as good as mine, but they're pretty good.
Okay.
You still get to go backstage and see shows for free. A lot of times you get music, CDs and stuff for free, and sometimes the best part is finding a new band that nobody's ever heard of before.
Wow.
You get music early,
Uh-huh.
and it's fun to be the person that you feel like you discovered somebody.
Right, you're the first one that ever heard of.
I heard him first.
Neat. That's cool. Now, on that same vein, do you get to pick the music that you play on the air?
Yeah, see, that's tricky. You don't technically get to pick the music that you play, and there's good reason for it.
Okay.
CCC is a local and independently owned station.
CCC?
Most radio stations are. They're owned by somebody in another state, big conglomerates. And we don't pick our own music, except when it's an all-request weekend or if it's all-request hour. We try and play as many requests as we can so that you, the listener, do get to choose the music. But there's a reason for it, because you don't want to hear 3 Avenged Sevenfold songs right in a row or 3 Led Zeppelin songs. It's called artist title separation. You want to make sure you don't hear it, even though it's your favorite song, you don't want to hear it twice in the same hour.
Is there a person at the radio station that's in charge of putting what songs
Indeed.
are played on?
Indeed. The music director does that, and that's Mike Caroli, who does middays at WCCC.
So he's a DJ and the music director.
He's a DJ and the music director.
So
Usually
he gets to pick his own songs.
Yes, exactly. But usually if you work at a radio station, you don't just get to do one thing. You know, you wear more than one hat. You either a program director, promotions director, the person goes out and meets and greets people. There's production directors too, who handles the imaging for the station, which is all the bells and whistles you hear in between songs.
Okay.
There's someone who
All the sound
specifically
effects.
does that, and then there's someone who specifically does commercial work
Okay.
and does the production to market things for clients so they can sell their product effectively.
Okay. So advertisements, commercials,
Advertising
that
and
sort of
marketing comes in handy too.
stuff. Okay, good. That's how you pay the bills, I'm sure.
Yes.
Now, it kind of leads to this next question. How many hours are you on the air each day, and then what sort of time do you have to spend off the microphone to get ready for that show? What sort of hours are involved in your job?
I'm technically live on the air from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m.
Okay.
But every moment of my day is preparing for the next day's show, whether it be reading every newspaper, magazine, watching television shows, going to see a movie. That's all part of my day. Cutting my finger, you know, getting caught in a line for hours, getting stuck in traffic. All part of the show.
Might become a part of the topic
Yeah,
that
it
you're
could be
talking about in the
anything.
morning show.
Exactly.
Okay. But you certainly want to keep up on like current news and events and
Yep.
you know, popular culture,
As much
movies.
as,
Okay.
as much as you hate watching the State of the Union, you watch it.
Okay.
You need to know these things. You need to be well-rounded.
Okay. Good. Yeah. Gotta
It's not just about music. Yeah.
Okay. Good. Obviously, you're currently with CCC on the morning show. Have you worked for other local stations in the Hartford area?
In Connecticut, I've worked at I-95 in Danbury, which is a classic rock station. I used to work at KC 101 in New Haven, top 40 music. I worked at the River 105.9 briefly, and then I got to come to CCC.
Excellent. Okay. And I understand that the morning show is kind of like the most sought-after gig, but that's kind of when you hit the top of the game.
That's the golden ticket. That's where you want to be.
Okay, so you're at the top of your field right now.
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good.
Good for you. Okay. Now, this might be a little uncomfortable, but I'm wondering if you ever had a funny blooper or an embarrassing moment, maybe some sort of a technical difficulty that happened while you were on air that you remember and kind of cringe when you look back on it.
Here's where you kids need to learn never to swear. One time I didn't realize my microphone was on and I used a swear word over and over and over and over again
no.
before someone said, hey, you're live on the air.
Oh.
I was lucky I didn't get fired, but I should have.
So you got in big trouble. That's
Don't start letting swear words become part of your everyday speak, because you need to learn how to not use them, ever.
Sometimes we've had students actually be broadcasting here and not realize that the rest of the school is seeing what they're doing and they're making faces or being silly and not realizing that, you know, maybe Mr. Watson or Mr. Kalongi actually might be looking in on them. So
They're always looking in. The microphone's always on as far as you're concerned. Treat it that way.
Might be appropriate. Do you have any advice you would give to a young person who might be interested into a career in radio?
Not just radio, just life in general.
Sure.
It was my voiceover professor told me to always find a job that you love because you'll never work a day in your life.
Okay, so doing what you love?
As long as you love what you do, it doesn't feel like work and it's fun, so who wants to work?
Yeah, sounds like you have a pretty good gig.
That's right. Got it made.
Good for you. And again, you know, it didn't come overnight, but...
And I went to GMS, so look at.
Someday you could grow up and be just like this. Would you do me a favor and give us a nice professional send-off here?
Absolutely. This is Mary Scanlon signing off on WGMS here at Griswold Middle School. Have a great day. Rock out.
Thank you for coming in.
Thanks.